Hi, I'm Sandy from Scissors in the City. This is the page we're going to make at our April 2025 retreat. Here are some of the items that you need to make the page. The papers are from Simple Vintage Flower Shop collection. It's the sticker sheet, a couple of papers. You'll also need a gray paper, white paper, and then the page pieces and some glossy enamel dots. The tools I used is a paper trimmer, adhesive, scissors, dimensionals, ruler, and the Spellbinders measuring tape. We're going to begin by cutting our papers. The white paper, you'll need two 4x6 pieces. So since this is 12 inches, we just cut this in half. So there is my 4x6. Then I need a 4x4. And a 5 5/8. So that's just a hair over 5 1/2. And then we need it 3 1/8. So you should have 4 papers, 4 white pieces of paper when you're done. These extra pieces are trash. Then let's take our Simple Vintage Flower Shop. This one's the Journal Elements, number 24211. I'm going to trim off the barcode at the top. And then the only piece that we need for the page will be this one. So that is 3 inches. And we'll cut it down to there. So the rest of these you can just set aside. You can use on a second page or whatever you want to do with it. Okay, next we'll take our Journal Elements paper. It's item number 24211. We're going to trim off the ID strip. And then we need this element right here. So I'm going to trim that to 3 inches. That leaves us a paper that's 9 inches from here to here. And we need to trim this down to 10 3/4. So this is now 10 3/4 by 9, but be sure to cut this strip off first. And we can trim this to just the edge of that. So we have 2 papers that we need out of that sheet. And these are extra, you can set that aside. Next, let's go ahead and take our wood grain, and that is item number 24208, Happiness. And the only thing we're going to do with this one is trim off the barcode. And we have 24213. The only item we're going to use on this one is this upper square. So I will trim off the barcode. I don't know if I told you, this is the item number 24213, Elements. So again, we'll trim off the barcode. And I can trim this straight across. And these are extra. Left we have our gray piece of paper, and we need to trim that to 11 by 9.5. So cut that at 9.5. And by 11. So that is just taking 1 inch off of the 1 dimension. Okay, then you can set your trimmer aside. And we're going to start building our page. So the base paper is going to be our wood grain. And then because, I'm going to show you the page again, mine is going to be a 2-page spread. So I actually ran the gray right to the edge. My page is a 2-page spread, so I ran the gray paper right to the edge. Now to help center this, Spellbinders has this new washi measuring tape. So I'm going to take my paper, and it's a centering tape. So if you look at it, they show you this little cut line here. So I'm going to trim that on that cut line. So now it is a centering piece of tape. So the 0 is the center, and this is now 12 inches. So I can lay that right on the edge here. Okay. And then I have my gray piece of paper that I'm going to center. This is 11 inches and this tape is 1 inch, so it should go right to the edge. And what I want to do is have the same number that I see from here. So this is 4 3/4 and this is 4 3/4. So I know that is in the center. And then I can just lay it down. And then we need our pretty pattern paper. Put some adhesive on it. And this one is going to line up with the gray on the far end, and I want it centered, so I want 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So that'll be like that. Now to get this tape off, it is a little sticky and we don't want it to tear our paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it off. Just keep it flat on the paper or on the table space and roll it off. Now if you wanted to, you could save this paper and use it again or throw it away. Now we're going to need our little white pieces of paper. And we're just going to set them aside, or set them on my paper for now. I'll come back and get this. And we have 2 papers that you cut out. They're going to go like that. So I'm going to adhere this to the white cardstock. And I wanted just a little border showing. And the same with this one. Make sure it's cut. I'm going to need to trim this just a little bit more. The white paper's 4 by 4, so this one I need to get down a little bit more. Whoops, wrong one. See if I trimmed enough off of there. Not quite. Off the bottom. There we go. All right. So this one goes here. You can pop this up if you'd like. And then this one goes next to it with a little bit of a border in between. And adhere this one underneath. And then I use the same top edge go in here. You know what? I don't like the way that is. That's a little too much in between there. I'm gonna move it up a little bit. I wanted this to be about the same as that. And this one I'm going to place like so. In your packet, you'll see these three things. And I'm going to use dimensionals on the little label here. And now, if you liked that sentiment there, you certainly could keep that one. But I wanted to cover it up. So if you take this and then just place it over that. And then I did take a sticker and I used Life is Good. Obviously you can use whatever you want. You could put a date in there of what your photos are. And I just place that there. And then my little butterfly, I wanted his wings to be a little dimensional. And for him, I'm just going to use a little dimensional. Just on the center, not on the wings, because I wanted the wings not to be flat up against the paper. Oh, before I put him on though, I need this border. I'm going to turn this. And I'm going to have to trim it just ever so slightly. No, you got to go. Here, you don't have to be by your sister. So after I have that on there, then I can take my butterfly and it goes right in the corner. Next I need this. And I use dimensionals on this too. So if you have some talc, you can put that on the back. I just usually put it on my pants. Try and take some of the stickiness off. And then this little leaf is just below the 3. And I did like it hanging off. And then on your sticker sheet, you'll see this green butterfly. And he's also sticky, of course, so I've got to get some of that stickiness off of him. And I did bend him. Now on him, I am going to put dimensionals on the butterfly, or the wing part of it, because he sits up above this, so he needs to be up a little higher. And it's going to go about like that. And all that's left to do is our memories. And I use dimensionals on that. And I have just the S top into the pail there. And just put that on across. So our page is done. Hope you enjoyed that. Here is the page 2 that I designed to go with page 1. And there it is by itself. So to make this page, you need a few items again. I already cut down the white paper, and that is 1 6x4, 2 4x4s, and 1 3x4. And those are your photo mats. I already trimmed off the barcode of our wood grain paper. The gray paper I trimmed down to 9.5 by 11, just like the first page. And then this one, where we trimmed off the one side, we're going to need this along with this one. So I'm going to, and obviously use whichever one you want. And I liked that one. And then this piece. So that was it out of this paper. And then the last piece you have, this is the piece we used on the first page. So again, we're going to cut that side down here. I need this one. And the Laugh-More. So then we need to trim this piece to 9 by 10 3/4. This should be 9. After you trim that side off, which it is. And then I need it 10 3/4. So I took my centering tape again, and I'm going to lay it right on the edge. Trim this. Now I know where I want to place my gray paper. I'm going to center that. So I want to show 4 3/4, 4 3/4, and I know that will be centered. I can't trim straight, I have to trim that off. And I have my flower paper. And I'm going to have about 1/4 inch all the way around. And I obviously did not cut that gray paper very straight. You know what, that's going to bug me, so I'm going to take it off. And put it back in my trimmer and see where I went wrong. It's off ever so slightly. That one looks good. That might be it. Let me try again. 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Makes this piece of paper centered. And then I take this with a 1/4 inch all the way around. That looks a little better. And because it's hanging off a bit, I'm going to trim that. And when you're using this centering tape, again, I start the corner. And once you've got it started, just roll it off. About at a 90 degree seems to work pretty good without tearing the paper. Oops, that's going to go this way. And we have our photo mats, so let's just set them around. The 4x4s are going to go there, and the 3 will go here. And then this one is going to go up above. So I want my margins about the same all the way around. And this 3x4 piece, I wanted the bottoms to be level. And about the same margin there and there. A little quicker. There we go. Okay. We're going to take this, and I trimmed it down. You can leave it as it is, but the way it kind of ended up was right here, and I didn't like that. So I trimmed it to 2 3/8. And it's right between that scallop, like that. I forgot to tell you, this has a border around it too. take one of your scrap pieces and then this would be 2.5. So it's 2.5 by 4. A little too much there, so we'll trim that. And I popped this one up. Just over slightly into the gray. Okay, this is the paper that you cut from your big piece of paper, from your 12 by 12. So I trimmed this. Now I did fussy cut this little half circle here. You could leave that on if you don't like fussy cutting. And then your little page pieces, we're going to use dimensionals on this. And that's going to go like so. And again with dimensionals. It's kind of big. Let me get a little one. And then my Laugh More, I also use dimensionals. And you do have some of these enamel dots, and I just place them around. Now you can mix them up. They don't all have to be the same color, or they can be the same color, whatever you choose to do. And there you go. That's page 2. Oh, I forgot my butterfly. I kind of curled his wings again. And that just goes there. So that's page 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.